Hey guys, I'm Rydel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm in my room right now. Storm is sleeping over there. Sweetie's asleep, Super asleep. Everybody's asleep except me. And Capron's working too. I have my Storm jumper on. Isn't that freaking cute? It's from Judith March. You can like customize stuff. I got Super from them when he was born, and then I got Sweetie, and then I got Storm. I asked you guys on Instagram any birth story questions, so I'm letting those come in, but then I'm going to tell you actual birth story. We'll just answer a couple at the end. So where do we start? Start from the top. As you saw in the video, I went into labor at about 10:30. So literally, I was right there getting cozy. Like my head hit the pillow and I was like, I think that's a contraction. And I'm like, no, could have been a Braxton Hicks. Like sometimes you get cramps and you're just like, it's psych, not actually in labor. So I just waited it out. And then at about midnight, I think it was, I was like, okay, this is the real deal. And that's when I started trying to call the whole family. I called mom, called dad, called Mamu. I was like, oh, I bet Rylan and Ross are up. Called Rylan. He didn't answer, but he called me right back. I thought he was at mom's house. He wasn't. He was already at his house. So I was like, oh, okay, never mind, not you. So then I called Ross. Ross was already asleep as well. Once I got a hold of Mamu, they came right over, and dad and Mamu stayed here because the kids were obviously already asleep. And then mom, me, and Capron went to the hospital. So you guys kind of saw all that stuff because we filmed it. Trying to fill you in on like stuff you maybe didn't see yet and or stuff that you like might not know. When you go to the hospital after hours, you go to the emergency exit. So we go through the emergency thing. Capron drops us off. He goes and parks the car. Then once I fill out some paperwork and give him my ID, yada yada, we get wheeled up to the room. Contractions are pretty chill at this point. Like they weren't like escalating. I would say like pain level, they weren't a 10 yet. They were like a 6 or a 7 maybe. Especially when I'm sitting, it's worse. So when I was in the wheelchair filling out paperwork and they're wheeling me up, they felt painful, like way worse. But as soon as I can stand and do my step touch, then they aren't as bad. And then in the room, a really sweet nurse comes to do my IV. And I have good veins. I usually am, they call it like an easy poke. Usually I'm an easy poke. Like my veins are thick boys and I've never had a problem getting IVs in before. And I can't get my epidural until I get my IV in so that they can draw blood and yada yada yada. Anyways, so she seemed like young and seemed newish, and she was a little timid doing the needle, and she could not she could get it in obviously, but she could not get my blood to draw. And she did the first one in my hand, and when you can't get it to draw, I'm not like a nurse, so I don't know any technical terms or anything, so don't mind that. But basically when she tried to get blood out, my whole hand bubbled and swelled like this thick. It hurt so freaking bad, you guys. I literally was like, what the frick? And so then she took the needle out and she's like, okay, let me try another spot. And I was like, oh, great. Already she had done the hand, which by the way, the hands are the worst. Those hurt bad. So I have literally a rock of air or bubble. I don't know what it is, but my hand looked like this. And it hurt worse than contractions. So then she goes over here to try another one, and she didn't even turn the lights on. It was like dark, bless her heart. And so then she tries on this side and she couldn't get it again, and it hurt so bad. I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I'm just like kind of like quiet. I don't really say anything, but my mom was like to a different nurse and she was like, can you try the IV this time? She was having a hard time. Like, we said it very nicely. And so then this nurse comes to do the IV again. She's like having a hard time with it too. So then she tries 2 more times. So now we're up to like 4. And she does one right here, and literally like a freaking lightning bolt electric shot shoots through my thumb all the way up these veins. And I think I cussed. I was like, holy shit. It hurt so bad. Why can nobody get my veins to work? I've never had this problem before. So she tried twice. Then a third nurse comes and she tries, can't get it. I'm like, so my arms, this is what I told everyone after, I'm like, literally my arms hurt worse than the entire rest of my body. They hurt worse than contractions. They hurt worse than labor. My arms were just getting beat up by these needles. Finally, the epidural guy gets there and he was able to get it to work right. Put it like right here, which is also the worst spot because it's like on the bone and near the bone. And I'm like, at least they got it in, but literally it took them 7 times to get my IV in. And my arms were bruised for days. Like I could not wait to get home and do mom's ice bath and stick my arms in and heal. I still have like, I don't know if you'd call it like nerve damage. That sounds a little intense, but I do think I have like nerve damage of some sorts, like right here. When I do that, I can still feel that shock go. And so I think I'm gonna get like acupuncture or something. But yeah, right here, this whole arm still hurts and is like almost numb. Anyways, when she did this one, I literally started crying. So I was like, holy shiz. And then I just started crying because I'm like so emotional and overwhelmed. It's already like such a crazy process. And I'm like, can someone just get the needle in my arm? Once we got past that, I felt a little better, but that was like emotional. I'm not kidding. It took them like an hour to get my IV in. And the contractions are escalating at that point. So it was just like not fun. But then once I got my epidural and whatnot, I finally got to fall asleep, because this was all around like 2 a.m. maybe. I think we got to the hospital at like 1:30 a.m. So maybe this was like 2:33 a.m. Actually, it takes a long time to get admitted. Sometime in the middle of the night is when this was going down. And then me and Capron fell asleep from like 4 a.m. to like 8 a.m. maybe. And then they came and wanted to like check me, see how dilated I was, because they have to communicate with my doctor and my OB so that she can come and not miss it and yada yada. So then I think at like 8 a.m. I still was only like 5 centimeters dilated or so. So then I just went back to sleep. My OB was like gonna come on like her lunch break. I still was kind of like neutral, like I wasn't escalating in labor like I thought I would. I thought I would go from like 0 to 10 centimeters dilated like that, since he's my third, but he was like sideways, so that's why my labor took longer. They broke my water for me. They've broken my water for me all 3 pregnancies, all 3 labors, because my water just doesn't break. That's kind of more of a movie thing. It's not guaranteed like, oh, your water's gonna break and then you're gonna have a baby. So they've broke my water 3 times. They broke it at like 11:30 a.m. maybe, and then that still didn't escalate too much. So then like I was still only like 7 centimeters dilated. So then at like 12:30 they gave me a little bit of Pitocin, I think is what it's called, to help me get to 10 centimeters. So that by the time my doctor got there, I was like ready to push. The doctor got there, I started pushing. I'm pushing for like 20 minutes maybe. And again, this is my third and I'm a good pusher according to the nurses and doctors. I'm a good pusher. And so after like 20 minutes, my doctor was like, hey, can we turn off your epidural so that you can feel what you're doing more, so that we can get him out? Because I was having a hard time. Like I said, third baby, like he should have just like slid out. But he was rotated kind of sideways, so he was getting stuck like on my pelvic bone. I had to like go down and under, and I just like could not get him out, because you can't feel anything if you have the epidural. I'm still pushing. I pushed for like another 20 minutes probably, because it takes a second for the epidural to wear off. So once the epidural wore off, I finally was like, oh, I got it. You know what I mean? Like you can feel then, and I'm like, okay, it hurts, but I know what I'm doing now. Especially I think from being a dancer, I know my muscles really well. Once I could feel, I was like, sweet. Pew! And then it came out a couple pushes later. So because I didn't have the epidural for the actual like birth part, felt like the ring of fire and all that stuff, and like you heard me in the video, I'm like, ow, 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 which I kind of like I almost want to do that. Well, fourth baby, he or she will probably come out way quicker if they're facing the right way. It's kind of nice having the epidural for the contractions, because the contractions like hurt, but then once it's time to push, it's kind of nice to turn it off, because then you can feel what you're doing. And then the ring of fire is like, it's quick, it hurts, but it's not too long. That's basically when the baby's head is crowning, when they're like coming out, you're like, ow, 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 ring of fire, burns, fire on my crotch, I'm sitting on a fire. But it's quick. And then you're done. And then you have a baby, and then you don't remember any pain ever again. So then baby was here, and we chilled in the hospital for only 24 hours. That's like their hospital policy, that like you can't leave until 24 hours. So as soon as the 24-hour mark comes up, I'm like, okay, we're leaving, bye. Let me see what a couple of you guys asked. How is it compared to Super Sweetie's birth? Faster, slower, harder, easier, etc.? So I think they're also different, all hard/easy in their own ways, if that makes sense. I'd say Sweetie's pushing wise was the easiest. I pushed like, I don't even remember, like 6-10 times and she was out. So pushing wise, she was the easiest because it was the fastest. Storm's was the easiest in the sense that I was just like, cool, I know what I'm doing now. I feel like a pro. This is my third time. I really know what to expect. But at the same time, you know, like he was sideways, my arm thing, like you don't know what to expect, but you do. But obviously things come up. But I felt like, just like, I'm ready. It's crazy because it's like super seems so long ago already. And it was just wild. I just still can't believe that we can make a baby and then they just are like, ah, and they just come out of your belly like freaking nuts. Did everything go as smooth as you thought it did? Ow. Freaking A. Storm was an amazing addition to your fam. Thank you. So yeah, no, kind of like, it definitely didn't go as smooth as I thought it would. I thought I was just gonna be in and out of there as far as pushing and delivery and labor and all that stuff. I thought it was just gonna be way quicker, way smoother. We had a couple bumps and we got through it. Has your breathing gotten better with each birth? Did you do the thing to improve? Breathing has definitely gotten better with each birth, especially now that I know what to do and how it all works and stuff, but I have not been practicing my breath, no. Is it difficult vlogging such an emotional thing like birth? Does it feel too personal? I don't think so. I just, I love having pictures. I love having videos. It's like my favorite thing ever to be able to look back on memories. And I just, sometimes putting it up, like uploading it to the internet, that feels personal. But that's why I try to like cut a lot of it out, especially with Storm and Sweetie. Storm's for sure though, because I edited it for the first round, and so I really knew what I like didn't want in, like what felt like too much, almost like, oh, I'm gonna keep that for myself kind of thing, and just make it like quicker. But no, I love filming. We just like, Capron usually just holds it, or we just like put it on a tripod, so it's kind of just like there and you're not really thinking about it. I'm still like very in the moment, you know what I mean? Did I tear it all, and what is it like having 3 closer together? 3 close together is the best thing ever. It's my favorite. I love it. Would not change a single thing. I did tear, yes. Not much, like barely, I think. So I did have to get stitches. Those hurt. She like topically numbed me, but that hurt because my epidural was worn off. I was like, oh, okay. Do you ever feel it was selfish to have kids so close? I didn't have the kids close for me. I had the kids close for them. Like, so that they're close and that they're best friends and they have a close relationship. I'm 1 year apart with all my siblings as well. No, if I was doing it for me, I would have them way farther apart because it's probably better for your body to like heal in between and let my body rest and whatnot. But no, the kids, like I said, I'm 1 year apart with all my siblings and they're my best friends. It's like the greatest thing that my mom ever did, is like that we're all so close and we're such a tight unit. And so I wanted that same thing for my kids. Were you scared when he got stuck? I wasn't actually. I just was kind of like, not frustrated, that's kind of like a harsher word. I was just kind of like, come on, like you got this, Rydel. Like I didn't ever think of any alternative. I was just like, okay, it's just gonna be a little bit harder to push and I gotta like really try hard to get him out. And like I said, my doctor thinks I'm like a really good pusher, so I was like, that gave me a boost. I was like, hey, I got this. But I don't think I ever got like scared. Like I wasn't thinking like any like, oh, what ifs or what if that. I was just like very focused on like my breathing and pushing to make it happen. How did you introduce your feeding sleeping schedule in the hospital? I with Storm, I'd say I pretty much started right away. And I think I did like every 3 hours in the hospital, and I didn't wake him up through the night ever. And so he pretty much already went through the night in the hospital. I think he did like a 6 or 8 hour stretch, which is amazing. And then when I got home, I started 4 hours right away. How long was labor? It was about 15 hours. How long were you at the hospital? We were there over 24 hours. 24 hours once I gave birth, but I think we got there 12 hours before. Why did you give him a hyphenated middle name instead of 2 middle names? Good question, actually. So I gave him OO instead of like, oh, I gotcha. Like, why'd I put the hyphen in there? I don't know. I didn't think of doing it actually the other way. I just was like, it's like Rocky dash Ross. Cause then it's like 1 instead of, yeah, I don't know. It just like combines them. And then I put both them in there because like if I only have one other boy, I want to make sure I can like name my babies after like all 4 of my brothers. So then next baby boy will be Riker Ryland or Riker Rye. I don't know, one of the 2. How long did I push in labor? So I think I pushed for like a full hour, which like I said, that was like way longer than I expected, because I think with Super I pushed for 2 hours, which was like very long. Felt very long. I think I'm gonna end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.